Do you know the kind of movies where the babysitter is a psycho? Those movies had traumatized me since I was a kid, and because of that, I had no interest in having a babysitter whatsoever. But no matter how much I resisted, my parents got me one. They were busy, hard-working business people and had to stay out of the house most of the time, so I had no choice but to get a sitter, even when I was 14. But before we move on, like this video and hit that subscribe button and activate the notification bell. And you'll never have bad luck in life. Trust me, it works. I did throw 1 or 2 tantrums about that, but that didn't exactly work with my parents. But I guess maybe out of luck or something, my babysitter turned out to be really nice. She didn't talk much and was about my mother's age and didn't look creepy like the ones in the movies, so she was fine. At least that was what it seemed at first. She was my babysitter as well as our housekeeper. She cleaned all the rooms, made all my favorite food, and not just that, she even drove me to and from school. We got such a good deal with her. Who even works this much for so little money? My mom said one day while we were having dinner, and my dad nodded his head in agreement. I was also happy about that because I didn't have to do any housework, which I had to do otherwise for pocket money. Life was going good like that, but slowly I realized that the babysitter was starting to take more and more control over my life. For example, when she came to pick me up from school, she would start honking like crazy if I got out even a minute later. That was so embarrassing. I had to run to get to the car as soon as the classes were done and couldn't stay back and chat with my friends. Also, I had to finish up all the food she made for me and couldn't even leave one grain behind. And being full was not an excuse she would take. I was like a puppet whose thread was in her hands. Because of all that, I was fed up with her and wanted to get rid of her. However, my parents were not up for it. It was as if she had put some kind of spell on them. They were really pleased with her and her work, and there was also the part about having to pay her less. Of course, they had no idea about how she was controlling my life and making it a living hell. One day, I was just passing by my parents' room to get to mine when I saw that the door there was cracked open. But my parents weren't home at the time, so I decided to take a peek in, and what I saw there was bizarre and confusing. My babysitter was in my parents' room, dressed in my mom's clothes and jewelry. Well, that's odd, I thought, all confused about what she was doing. That led me towards one clear explanation. She was stealing from my mom. At that moment, instead of confronting her, I made up my mind that I was going to tell my parents all about it, expose her, and finally get rid of her. As soon as my parents came home that day, I went to them, running to tell them everything. "Mom, she's a thief. The babysitter is a thief," I told them without taking a moment to breathe. "What are you talking about?" Mom replied, all worried. "I saw her in your room. She was taking your jewelry," I said, and added that she should go and check what items in her room are missing. After hearing all I had to say, my parents called the babysitter to come out of the kitchen, and then all of us made our way to the room. There, my mom checked each and every drawer and closet, one by one, properly. "I don't understand, Eddie. All my valuables are right where I left them. Nothing's missing," Mom said. And as soon as she said that, the babysitter burst out crying and fell on her feet. What a drama queen, I thought. But she started blabbering out her side of the story, which was absolutely untrue. "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Zyper. I was just doing my job in cleaning your room. I don't know why the boy thinks I'm a thief," she said, crying out even louder now. And she was successful in fooling my parents with her crocodile tears. My parents instantly started apologizing to her as if their life depended on it. "We are so sorry, Maria. We didn't mean to hurt you. Eddie here just needs to learn a lesson," Dad said, and told me I was grounded for a month, and they were also taking away my pocket money for a week. You might easily guess what happened after that. She had more power over my parents that led to her influencing all their decisions that concerned me. I was honestly living like a prisoner in my own house. I had to follow strict bed and TV time rules. I had to eat whatever she made and could barely go out to play with my friends. Life was not so good, but after some time, I got really bored because of having to stay at home all the time. "That's it. If she's not letting me out, I'll call my friends over," I said to myself and texted my group to come for a sleepover because my parents were out that day. 3 of my friends came over instantly, and there was a lot of chattering, shouting, and laughing in the house. We played video games and ate a lot of junk food. I hadn't had this good of a time in so long. However, I could tell that Maria was not happy about it by the look on her face. After playing video games till midnight, we finally went to bed. I went to my room while my friends slept in the guest room. But something strange happened in the morning because when I woke up, my friends were not there anymore. Did they leave without telling me? I thought, but figured that their parents might have come to pick them up, so I didn't think much about it. Then, at school, I went to find my friends first thing, but all of them were ignoring me. I just kept on thinking about what went wrong, but couldn't figure out why. And to be honest, I was just done wondering. So at lunchtime, I went up to them in the cafeteria and demanded to know what was going on and why they were acting so cold towards me. One of my friends then took a long breath and started speaking. "Your babysitter is what happened. She scared the life out of us last night, man," he said, and told me that she warned them to never show up in the house ever again or talk to me. Otherwise, she would show their parents some pictures of my friends sneaking out of school, which could get them in trouble. "She's a psycho. I think you should watch your back and beware of her," he added, and that was it. I didn't even have friends anymore. After that, my life became very depressing and boring, and at times, I even felt like running away from the house. But let's be real, there was nowhere I could go. However, after what seemed like forever, I finally turned 16. And that was when my parents gave me the best news of my life. "Since you're old enough to take care of yourself now, we're getting rid of Maria," my mom said. Finally, I thought, and assured my parents that their decision was perfect. Then, the good times began for me. I could finally breathe the air of freedom. I could go wherever I liked, whenever I liked, and hang out with my friends as much as I wanted. They even started coming to my house for sleepovers again after I told them that the babysitter was out of the picture. And the best part was that I finally confessed my feelings to a girl I liked and got a girlfriend. Everything was going smoothly after that. Sometimes I would take my girlfriend out on dates. Sometimes I would hang out with my friends. But at times, I felt as if someone was watching me or following me. I know you might think I was being paranoid, but one time, even while I was on a vacation with my parents on a far-off island, I felt the same eyes watching over me. I was chilling on the beach and relaxing in the sun when I felt like I saw the psycho babysitter. Did she follow me here? I thought. But I brushed that feeling off quickly as I wanted to heal from the trauma she put me through, and also because I just saw her once, so I must have been mistaken. Slowly, I was able to erase her and the difficult times from my mind. But I had no idea what was waiting for me because a year after that, my worst nightmare came back. My parents and I were getting ready for the weekend brunch when suddenly the crazy babysitter came crying at our door. "Mr. and Mrs. Zyper, I haven't found any job since I left here. I'm so poor. Please, give me a job," she begged and cried. Since my parents were very kind and soft-hearted people, they agreed to keep her as a housekeeper without even asking for my opinion. However, this time, I decided that I will not let her have control over my life. I decided to put on my imaginary iron suit and be brave like an Iron Man. I am not letting her win this time, I said to myself and accepted my parents' decision. After that, just to show her that I was not her puppet anymore, I started going out more often. I would even bring my girlfriend over for a movie night or a video game. But then, something weird happened. I know I should have expected that with the psycho babysitter around. The thing was, I was getting lazier. To be precise, sleepy whenever I had plans to go out. I had to find out what was going on, so I secretly installed some nanny cams on multiple parts of the house. And what the camera recorded was unbelievable and unacceptable. The video from the kitchen revealed that the crazy woman was mixing some kind of pill in my dinner, most probably a sleeping pill. That was the reason why I was feeling sleepy all the time. It was not some little thing I could ignore and let go of. I had to show everything to my parents and then the police. For that, I called my parents who were at work at that time to let them know about the situation. But strangely, none of their phones were reachable. So without wasting any time, I drove to my parents' office. And when I reached there, I got the shock of my life. My parents' colleagues informed me that they had not been to the office for 5 days. "We have been trying to reach them, but their phones are not reachable," one of them said. I thanked them and got out of there thinking I should wait for my parents at home. However, even after days of waiting, my parents didn't show up, but I thought maybe they went on a vacation without telling me. While all the bizarre things were happening in my life, my girlfriend also ghosted me and blocked me from calling or texting her. Sketchy, right? I had the same thought like you. It must be a maniac in my life. I was so done sitting back and letting her ruin my life like that. Hence, I decided to do some stalking of my own on her before going to the police. I picked a time when Maria was working in the kitchen. I sneaked out of the house secretly to pay a visit to the location she had provided to my parents as her home. It was an old and shabby place, and looking from the outside, it didn't seem like anyone would even live there except for ghosts. Because it was old, it was easier for me to enter the place. As soon as I got in, I was shocked because the walls of the house were filled with my pictures from when I was a baby to my first day of school to whatnot. I was creeped out and wanted to get out of there as soon as possible, but I had to see the rest of the house. Slowly, I went around the house like a rat, not making even a single sound, and there was nothing to see there. Really just a couple of pieces of old furniture and an old computer in the corner, which stood out to me. I opened the computer and what I found out shocked me even more. It was the haunting search history on that computer. The search history showed that the psycho woman had looked up all my social media and government information multiple times on the internet. Also, the search history went back to years, which meant she had searched for me before even coming to my house as a babysitter. What does she have in mind for me? I thought, all scared and nervous. Right then, I was startled by the noise made by the squeaky old door. "Oh no, someone's coming in," I said to myself, but it was too late for me to run. I was so scared and my poor heart almost gave up when I saw the psycho babysitter enter. It was like all those horror movies all over. But I knew what I had to do. For that, I put up a brave face and of course the imaginary iron suit. "What is all this, you creep? Explain yourself," I asked. "Don't use that language with your birth mother," she shouted and told me that I was her son. She also told me that she had put me up for adoption because she was poor, but then she couldn't stay away from me afterward. "There's no point in hiding the truth now. I did everything out of love," she added, but I didn't believe her for a second. "You're a liar, and I'm going straight to the police from here," I said and started to walk out of there before she stopped me. "You wouldn't want to do that if you love your parents," she said and showed me a video on her phone. My heart sank like the Titanic when I saw that she had my parents locked up in a cage. I couldn't utter a word while the psycho woman laughed like crazy. She warned me that if I went to the police, she would harm my parents and then lock me up in my house. What should I do? I am locked in my house guarded by the psycho babysitter. Should I take the risk of calling the police? Let me know your suggestion in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check out other videos on the channel.